Tomorrow I'll be visiting a client that we've been working with for nearly a decade. In that time, his business has gone from startup to market leader, and we're now experimenting with a new range of products. It's the dream client-agency relationship. And I'd love to say that it's entirely because of how life-changingly, P&L shatteringly brilliant we are. But in truth, that's only half the story. Maybe 60%. You see, this client does everything right. He is the Messi of clients, only with no suggestion of tax fraud. And this perfect relationship is not only brilliant for us, but also for him. There is nothing we wouldn't do for this beautiful man. However, being a grade A client isn't easy. Here are 6 ways to become exactly that. The first is to be a little bit awkward. Every primary point of contact for an agency should have the capacity to be a pain in the arse when required. Achieving remarkable things is never comfortable, so keep the bastards on their toes and tell them straight when you're not happy. But, number 2, do not do their job for them. If you were at a restaurant and halfway through your meal you went into the kitchen and started making your own dessert, you'd be considered a maniac and quite possibly thrown in the back of a police van. Share your concerns, give lots of feedback, and by all means spit your dummy out when you're not happy. However, the moment you start prescribing instructions to your agency, sack them immediately. Then hire one that you trust. Or alternatively, if you really think you do know best, hire freelancers instead to carry out your specific instructions. You'll save yourself a ton of money and have a clear point of accountability when it all goes wrong. Number 3, provide information quickly. Imagine you were to hire a new internal marketing person and then gave nothing to do for the first 2 weeks despite their asking every single day. Then imagine in week 3, you called for an emergency meeting because you realised that the timelines for the big project that you brought them on board for weren't going to be hit. This is 90% of projects with agencies, particularly where websites are concerned. Be the exception. Number 4, don't listen to the bloke down the pub. So you spent 3 months researching the agency landscape, speaking to a long list of contenders, and finally making a decision about who you're going to work with and why. Now you're going to undermine all of that because some stranger wiping the remnants of a fifth rebellion from his chin tells you that SEO, PPC and email are all dead and that now it's all about TikTok. Brilliant. Perhaps he could spare you another 5 minutes and update your will. Once he's finished rewiring your house, of course. I should add that the bloke down the pub can also be found masquerading as Graham from the IT department or your smart-ass brother-in-law. Number 5, don't overstretch your budget. Would you hire a new internal marketing team if you knew that in 4 months you'd likely run out of cash to pay them? I know that you've created a fancy graph somewhere that shows everything magically clicking into place at the end of Q1, leaving you with more cash than you could ever dream of thereafter, but when that doesn't happen, you're going to be left with one giant lesson and absolutely no resources to do anything with it. Be honest about your budgetary constraints, to yourself and your agency. Finally, most importantly, number 6, pick the right agency in the first place. You know who we are. See you next time.